Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Just heading out to run a couple errands. I got another roll of tape. You can see my eBay package there. And a shirt to send out too. I discussed a little bit on a previous video about short and long tail items. And not knowing what's going to be what. So that shirt, I bought it a month ago. I didn't list it for a week, and then it sold today. So that's fairly quick. And that's kind of what I was going to discuss, just as a kind of a tip as you're getting started on eBay. Those items. Oh, and by the way, I've probably mentioned it before. I don't sell a huge volume, and I don't really worry about my neighborhood. I've never had anything stolen, but I'm paranoid, so I don't put my packages in my mailbox. I always end up taking them to the post office, so that's what I'm doing with those. But that item, I threw all the numbers in my spreadsheet. So after PayPal fees, after eBay fees, after the purchase price, which was about $3, I made $10.63 on that item. So just to give you a rough idea, I don't keep track of my time. I could, but once I'm full-time or doing it more regularly, I might. But like today, I spent 3 hours taking pictures of stuff to list. But like a shirt, it's hard for me to tell unless I really tracked it as I did it. That day, I went to the thrift store. I was there probably an hour and a half, maybe. And I think I found about 10 shirts, and then a couple other miscellaneous items that have already sold. And then the way I track items, I went home and listed it, and I just kind of broke down. Some of them were the tags that were half off. Some of them were tags that were normal price. I have certain brands I stick to right now for clothing, just because I'm super picky with clothing. To the point that most of the stuff is stuff I would wear if it won't sell. So anyway, I broke everything down. I think I bought 12 items, and I just split the cost of all the clothing items across evenly. So it was like $3 is what I had into that item. So I had it up for 15 bucks, took a best offer of 12. I had it to automatically accept offers of a certain level, and it was above that level, so it just automatically did it, and he bought it. So all that being said, the reason I bring that up is there's certain criteria that sellers try to reach in order to have a sustainable business model, which really, this is below that threshold I want to be at. I want an average selling price of between $20 and $30. And then if I can move 10 of those items a day, I should be close to making $200 a day. And so the catch there is I'm averaging $30 on my items, but my items don't. The way that model works is if you're buying those items for $1, $2, $3. And most of my items that are more expensive, I paid more than that. So I have a mix of stuff, but I am getting there. And based on the size of my inventory, I was looking at my report this morning because I had some time, and I'm selling on average 1 to 2 items a day, and I don't even have 200 listings now. Oh, my milestone today, I hit 200 positive feedback, 100% positive. The only negatives I've ever had, and I know this will change as volume increases, the only negatives I've ever had is I ran a towing company for a while, and I sold used auto parts, and I had a couple negatives, and that was so many years ago. They're not even on there. So I have a 200 now, 100% positive feedback. Hopefully I get to a high enough volume where that drops to 99, because when you sell a ton of items, eventually you're going to get something you can't get removed. And that's just kind of I don't know. It's not a badge of honor, but it's like, yeah, I have 1,000 transactions and I have 99.9 because out of those 1,000 transactions, one person was ticked. It's going to happen, but right now, 200 positive feedback, nothing negative. So, when you're sourcing, especially when you're part-time, Jay and Ryan brought up a good point the other day. It was actually one of their callers brought up that possibly selling for other people, consignment, whether it's you put out an ad on Craigslist or whatever to do it, or whether you're just selling like friends and family stuff for them and splitting the profit or however you want to do it, it can make more sense for part-time people over full-time. And I agree with that in a way, in a lot of ways, mainly because when you're doing it full-time, an enjoyable part and a big part of your job is going out and sourcing items. So that's what you're doing, then listing and shipping. When you're part-time, sourcing, especially when you're getting started, if you're not buying in bulk, the stuff that I buy at the thrift stores and things like that, I'm really picky on, like I said. So I spend an hour, I find 10 items, okay. Now let's say it takes me another bit of time to photograph all those items. Clothing doesn't really take that long to photograph. And then I have to, I polybag them right after I photograph them, store them to keep them organized, and then list them. So let's say for those 10 items, I'm now into it. Let's just for ease, let's say it took 2 hours. Well, let's say 3 hours. So 3 hours, those 12 items, or 10 items, and I averaged $10 an item. So I made $100 in 3 hours. That's not bad. That's $33 an hour, essentially. That's the kind of stuff you can realistically see. And those are real numbers. I mean, you're not going to get that, all of those instantly. Dude, I'm driving down the main street of my town. Every year, they do this chalk art the same week every year. I should know by now it rains. It's screwing up my work. The rain is screwing up. They get these amazing artists that do this chalk art, and then it frickin' rains on them every time. They need to move it out like 2 or 3 weeks out, and then we won't get rained on. But I've lived up in this neighborhood for like 8 years, and I swear 5 out of the last 8 years they've got rained on. They just need to bump it out a couple weeks. Anyway, so I don't want to give you guys false expectations. We've talked about that. So the thing with that is that is a real, number. If I spend an hour in the store, I am picky about items. It takes me an hour to find 10 items. Then, an hour or so to photograph and list and package. Maybe 2 hours. So like I said, 3 hours. 3 hours into that, if I can make $10 an item, that's not bad. I have unless I pay $3 an item. So I've got $30 in, $300 return, and the amount of time it took me is just equivalent to $33 an hour. I charge $45 an hour to do work that requires a ton of special tools and is hard on my body. So that's really not bad. And like I said, that's where reselling, I don't like I learn a lot from YouTubers, but at the same time, I don't like the YouTube channels that show, oh, look at me driving my Bentley and I'm a reseller, or driving my Ferrari or whatever. Because yeah, it can happen if you want a huge business. If you're going to do family-run business, 1 or 2 people, I'm not saying it can't happen. I would like to figure out a way to make it happen. Maybe I will find a way to make it happen, and then I'll have a huge subscription on YouTube, because that would be amazing. But in general, the thing that I like that I mentioned in one of my other getting started videos is I really like YouTube for eBay and reselling for the fact of, if you're willing to put in the work, the ability to profit is there. $33 an hour is a good living. You know, you're not going to buy a Ferrari on it, but you can live on $33 an hour, especially if you're smart. You be frugal, $33 an hour, and you put in your hours each week, and you're smart with your money. You know, that scavenger mentality, $33 an hour, you'll be doing pretty well. So it's entirely possible to make a living. I'm not teaching you how to be a millionaire, because I'm not anywhere near that myself. So just something to keep in mind. There was just an item that came up. The other item I dropped off was that roll of tape. Again, it's items that stuff. Oh, so that stuff there, a way to view your inventory. Like I said, I mentioned before. Actually, this video is already 10 minutes. Next one, I'm going to talk about a couple different ways to kind of keep your inventory, like your pricing, how much you have into each item, kind of track that so you know how much you're making. So I'll get into that in the next video. So until next time, everybody have a good one. Hit that thumbs up button if this is helpful. If you like the content and want to see the next video, hit that subscribe, and we will see you next time.